Indie horror games can scare you, right? Without big budgets, they rely on atmosphere, narrative, and sheer creativity to deliver some of the most chilling experiences. Today we're going to show you the best indie horror games that will make you jump out of your seat. Amnesia, The Dark Descent, puts you in a world where survival is all about hiding and running rather than fighting. You play as Daniel, a man who wakes up in a creepy castle with no memory of how he got there. The atmosphere is intense, and the fear comes from not knowing what's around the next corner. The sound design is incredible, making even the smallest noises feel terrifying. As you explore, you piece together fragments of your past while trying to avoid the horrifying creatures lurking in the shadows. In Outlast, you are a journalist named Miles Upshur, investigating the horrors of an abandoned psychiatric hospital. Right from the beginning, you know something is off, and it doesn't take long for the real nightmare to unfold. What makes this game unique is the way it strips you of any means to defend yourself. Your only tools are a camcorder and your ability to run and hide. Little Nightmares offers a creepy yet oddly beautiful world where you play as a small, raincoat-wearing girl named Six. Trapped in a mysterious, disturbing place called the Mall, Six has to navigate through dark, twisted environments filled with grotesque, oversized enemies. The game's art style is hauntingly unique, giving it a fairy tale gone wrong vibe. Puzzles and platforming elements add to suspense as you try to stay hidden from terrifying foes. Phasmophobia brings ghost hunting to a whole new level by letting you and your friends team up to investigate haunted locations. Armed with paranormal investigation tools, you try to gather evidence of supernatural activity while avoiding getting killed by the ghosts that haunt the place. What's cool is that you can communicate with the ghost via voice recognition, making it feel like you're really talking to spirits. Darkwood is a top-down survival horror game that doesn't rely on cheap scares. Instead, it builds tension through atmosphere, resource management, and exploration. Set in a creepy, ever-changing forest, you have to gather supplies during the day and survive the night when terrifying creatures come out to hunt. The game has a really eerie art style, and its use of light and shadow adds to the dread. In The Medium, you take on the role of Marianne, a psychic who can travel between the physical world and the spirit world. The game plays with its dual reality mechanic, where you often find yourself solving puzzles and interacting with both realms simultaneously. The horror comes from the eerie, otherworldly atmosphere and the dark, twisted story that slowly unravels as you progress. Alien Isolation perfectly captures the terror of being haunted by a seemingly unstoppable force. Set in the same universe as the iconic Alien films, you play as Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley, trying to survive aboard a space station while being stalked by a deadly xenomorph. The game is all about stealth and survival, as you have no real way of fighting back against the alien. Inside is a minimalist yet deeply unsettling game that mixes puzzle platforming with psychological horror. You control a nameless boy navigating a dystopian world filled with eerie, silent threats. The story is told without dialogue, relying on environmental cues and your own interpretation. The game is dripping with atmosphere, and the puzzles are cleverly integrated with the haunting environment. Among the Sleep offers a unique twist on the horror genre by putting you in the shoes of a 2-year-old child. You explore a dark, surreal world where the lines between reality and nightmare blur. The game uses the innocence and vulnerability of a child to amplify the terror, as everyday objects and environments take on a sinister quality. In White Day, you're trapped in a haunted school filled with angry spirits and dangerous secrets. The game has a unique mix of puzzles and stealth as you try to avoid ghosts while uncovering the mysteries of the school. What sets this game apart is its cultural context, drawing heavily from Korean folklore and traditions. Little Hope is part of the Dark Pictures Anthology series, which focuses on interactive horror experiences. In this game, you follow a group of people stranded in a fog-covered town with a dark, supernatural history. The choices you make directly impact the fate of the characters, adding a layer of tension to every decision. The story is inspired by historical witch trials and folklore, creating a blend of psychological and supernatural horror. Another entry in the anthology, The Devil in Me, takes you to a spooky, abandoned mansion with ties to a notorious serial killer. The story unfolds as you explore the house and make choices that can either save or doom the characters. The game is heavy on atmosphere and tension, with moments that will have you on the edge of your seat. It's the kind of horror that keeps you guessing, with plenty of twists and turns along the way. Five Nights at Freddy's has become a cult classic in the indie horror scene. You play as a night shift security guard at a creepy, rundown pizza place where the animatronic mascots come to life and try to kill you. The game is simple in concept but incredibly stressful, as you have to manage your limited resources like power and security cameras, while avoiding the animatronics. In the park, you play as a mother searching for her missing son in a derelict, haunted amusement park. The game is short but packed with atmosphere and emotional depth. As you explore the park's creepy attractions, you start to uncover disturbing truths about both the park and the protagonist's past. The game's psychological horror elements are well crafted, making you question the reality of what you're seeing. It's a deeply unsettling experience that taps into fears of both the supernatural and the psychological. Home Sweet Home is a first-person horror game heavily inspired by Thai mythology and folklore. You play as a man searching for his missing wife in a series of nightmarish locations, where spirits and other supernatural forces are out to get you. The game mixes stealth with puzzle solving, as you have to avoid enemies while trying to figure out what's going on. Detention is a beautifully crafted psychological horror game set in 1960s Taiwan during a period of political unrest known as the White Terror. You play as a student trapped in a mysterious, eerie school where the lines between reality and nightmares are blurred. The game combines point-and-click mechanics with a gripping, emotional narrative that explores themes of oppression, guilt, and fear. Song of Horror takes the concept of dynamic, unpredictable horror to the next level. The game introduces a mechanic where the presence known as the entity hunts you down in different ways every time you play, making no two experiences the same. You take control of multiple characters, each with their own perspectives and abilities, as you navigate the strange events surrounding a haunted mansion. Devotion is a deeply emotional and terrifying journey into the unraveling mind of a man whose family is haunted by their tragic past. Set in 1980s Taiwan, the game focuses on a small apartment that slowly becomes more nightmarish as you piece together the dark history behind the family's struggles. The game masterfully blends psychological horror with cultural references, giving it a distinct, unsettling atmosphere. Fears to Fathom, Carson House is part of an episodic series of psychological horror games inspired by real-life stories. This entry focuses on a teenager tasked with house-sitting at a stranger's home, but things quickly spiral into a terrifying nightmare. The game's low-burn approach builds tension as you explore the eerie house and notice small details that feel just off. Ironbark Lookout is another chilling entry in the Fears to Fathom series, this time centering on a lone park ranger stationed in a remote lookout tower. As you monitor the surrounding forest, strange and disturbing events begin to unfold. The isolation of the setting amplifies the fear, making every noise in the dark woods feel like a potential threat. In The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, you take on the role of a detective with paranormal abilities investigating the mysterious disappearance of a young boy in a small rural town. The game blends exploration with supernatural horror as you uncover the dark secrets hidden within the town's picturesque but eerie landscapes. Haunting Ground is a classical survival horror game that focuses heavily on the feeling of being pursued. You play as Fiona, a young woman trapped in a creepy gothic castle with no idea how she got there. What set this game apart is a unique mechanic involving a dog companion named Huey, who helps you navigate the castle and fend off the various enemies stalking you. The game is all about staying hidden and using strategy to avoid capture. Visage is a terrifying first-person horror game set in a seemingly normal house that quickly turns into a nightmarish labyrinth of psychological horrors. The game draws inspiration from the now famous PT demo, using unsettling visuals and a slow-burn approach to build an atmosphere of dread. As you explore the house, you uncover dark, tragic stories of the people who once lived there. If you're a fan of classic survival horror games like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, then Tormented Souls is right up your alley. The game takes you to an abandoned mansion turned hospital filled with creepy enemies, disturbing puzzles, and plenty of dark secrets. The fixed camera angles, inventory management, and limited resources all harken back to the old-school horror games of the late 90s and early 2000s. Until Dawn is more of an interactive horror movie than a traditional game, where your decisions can literally mean life or death for the characters. Set in a remote mountain cabin, you follow a group of friends as they are haunted by mysterious forces. The game uses a branching narrative structure where your choices lead to multiple different outcomes, and the tension builds with each decision. Layers of Fear 2 takes the unsettling psychological horror of the first game and amps it up with a new story and setting. This time you play as an actor on a mysterious abandoned ship where reality bends and distorts around you. The game focuses on exploring the nature of fear and identity as your character is pushed to the edge of sanity. The Blackout Club offers a unique twist on a multiplayer horror where you and your friends play as teenagers investigating strange occurrences in their small town. The game is heavy on stealth and teamwork as you try to uncover the truth while avoiding creepy enemies and bizarre supernatural forces. What's interesting is that the game adapts you to your actions, creating an evolving horror experience. Murder House is a throwback to the slasher films of the 80s, complete with grainy VHS visuals and a simple but terrifying premise. You play as a news crew investigating an abandoned house where a notorious serial killer once lived, but it doesn't take long for things to go horribly wrong. The game's lo-fi aesthetic adds to the creepy atmosphere, making it feel like you're trapped into a lost horror movie. Observer is a cyberpunk horror game that blends futuristic tech with psychological terror. You play as a detective who can hack into people's minds to investigate crimes, but as you delve deeper into their memories, things start to get twisted and surreal. The game's dark, dystopian setting is filled with disturbing imagery, and the story touches on themes of identity, loss, and fear. Endless Nightmare throws you into a haunted house filled with terrifying ghosts and other supernatural entities. You have to investigate the mysterious disappearance of your wife and daughter while avoiding the horrors lurking in the dark. The game's use of atmosphere and sound design is top-notch, with every creak and shadow adding to the tension. So, did you like the games I recommend? So leave your likes, subscribe to the channel to follow me, and activate the bell, because I post a lot of videos on this channel and you can't miss it. Thank you very much for following me this far, and until next time, bye!